Hey guys, Ghost Hunter Dan. Just stopping by tonight. I wanted to try YouTube again. I did it today, and really liked the way the YouTube thing worked out. I know I said on my pages I was going to be live in 5. I went live right now, so I'm going to kind of wait for a few people to wander in here. Um, I don't know what my partner Larry just texted me. Somebody just popped into chat. Episode is live. I am on live. Sorry, guys. So anyway, I labeled this Angels and Demons. One of the reasons I did is because everybody gets confused by angels and demons and attachments and malevolent spirits and this, that, the other thing, and what are the differences, what aren't the differences. You know, there are a lot of differences. I am no demonologist. I know what I know through growing up Catholic, and the experiences that I've gained through uh, this whole paranormal business. So what I can do is talk a little bit about what I've encountered. I can tell you right now that I've never encountered a demon. I hope I never do. Um, that's just crap that I don't want to deal with, and neither do you. So let's hope and pray that none of us really ever run into anything demonic. The law of averages says the longer you do this and the more you're out there, the more you put yourself out there, it will probably happen. But let's hope not. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop into chat. I will actually turn chat on. I'm sorry, I did not do that. Boom, chat's on, and I'm here. So Nick is here. Hey, Nick. Let me answer Larry again. Okay. So, now I don't know how that's going to work for Larry to pop on here because he is also, on our YouTube page. Hi, Randy. So anyway, guys, angels and demons. There are many similarities. There's one humongous difference. By definition, angels and demons are the exact same thing. They have never ever had a human body. They were not born into the world as we were. They were actually created by God. Hey, Nick. So by the way, guys, not to get off subject, I really like this YouTube live much better than the Facebook live. It's much more clear. You can hear me better. The stream is much better. I actually like the chat better. I'm thinking that Larry and I are going to kind of try to put together a monthly show where we go through what we did for the month, and we'll do it together right here on YouTube. So yeah, surprise, Larry. Another thing to add to all the shit we do. So anyway, we're just going to make it work. You're going to deal with it. So anyhow, the biggest difference between angels and demons is one is evil, one is good. One is of heaven, one is of hell. I believe, I have a very strong faith, and I believe deeply that somebody's out there watching over us. I've said this a lot of times on many different live streams and stuff. I would rather believe and find out nothing's there than not believe and find out something's there. Now, one of the other reasons that I do believe is from, you know, personal experience and practice. Uh, I have holy water. Okay. These are some of the biggest weapons that we have against negativity, malevolent spirits, demons. Now, Larry and I have done numerous cleansings in which we use holy water, and trust me, this isn't even all the holy water. I've got a whole bag of holy water. These are just a couple of different sizes. If I'm going to someplace small, I'll just take a small bottle of holy water. And if I'm going to someplace that I think might be a little bigger, I'm going to take a bigger bottle of holy water. The reason I know this is holy water is because I don't take it for granted. I go to the actual Catholic Church and I get the holy water myself, so that I know that I am using holy water and not something that somebody told me was holy water. So those are one of the things that I do for cleansings, and I have seen it work. I mean, I have seen a house that was in complete turmoil calm down and never have another issue after we've done that. Now, we've been very lucky. We've never had to tussle with anything really strong or really super bad to where we can get away with doing the prayers that we do and using the holy water, and it works for us. Now, there may come a time where that does not work. But my good friend Sandy was just on doing a live feed herself. And, she was talking about, running into demons and stuff. And when they're stronger, they're going to be harder to get rid of. It's kind of like the cockroach that's going to survive the nuclear holocaust with a demon. So you have to, when you are going up against these things, and one of the things that Sandy had just mentioned is you really have to have a positive attitude and you have to have a clear and positive mind. If you have something on your mind as though, or as in you're fighting with the wife or the husband or the significant other, you've been sick, you have sick kids at home, you just lost a parent or a favorite aunt or uncle, cousin, whatever the case may be. You don't want to go in any place that could possibly have negative activity when you are not at the top of your game. That makes you a much easier target because you are compromised. It's much easier to take on the weak one of the crowd than it is to try to go after the strongest one in the crowd. So if Larry and I go somewhere and one of us is not at the top of our game, if we do a cleansing, and we don't do them super often, guys, but we do them. And there's an attachment to be had. Well, whoever's the weaker of the two that night, that's where the attachment's going to go. I mean, generally speaking. So now there are also, and Sandy just covered it pretty well, malevolent spirits. Now, a malevolent spirit or negative entity, I prefer to say negative entity. You guys can pretty much say whatever the hell you want. It's all pretty much the same ball of wax, if you will. They can make your life a living hell as well. Sandy just talked about this. The only thing I'm going to add to what Sandy was talking about is that a ghost or a malevolent spirit that was once human cannot possess you. It does long for something that it no longer has, which is a human body, which is communicate, the ability to touch and to communicate and things like that. And you can do that with the, live world Much better if you have a body. However, they cannot take your body. They can, they have a very strong power of suggestion and things, but they still cannot possess you, unlike a demon that can. Another important thing that Sandy said, and it is very noteworthy for me to say here, is that usually this is how you can tell the difference between a demon and a ghost trying to make an attachment, or a malevolent spirit trying to influence you, is the spirit or the ghost does not wait very long. They, right now, I mean, you might see it 2 days after the investigation, you might see it that night. Demons have eternity. Demons are after your soul, something that they can take and possess for Satan. So they have all the time in the world. They have all the time in the universe. They don't have to strike fast and take you home. They can drag this thing out for years. The movie The Exorcist is actually based on a true story. It was not a little girl. It was actually a little boy in the Chicago area, as a matter of fact. It took those priests 9 months to get that demon off of that kid. And the older priest, which he died in the movie. He actually did die of heart failure after that exorcism was completed, 9 months after the fact. So these things can stick very hard and be very, very hard to get rid of. And like I said, I'm no exorcist. I'm not an ordained minister in any way, shape, or form. But I do have faith. And, there was a time that Larry and I were actually in a house where some strange shit was going on, guys. And it seemed like, but it only seemed like we were at hell's front door. We were nowhere close. And I was alone in the basement of this house. And I was, doing the prayers to try to close the portal that was in this house. And I felt very weak. I felt like everything I was trying was not working. And all of a sudden I felt a hand on my shoulder. And I thought it was Larry. And I didn't even turn around. I just kept doing what I was doing. And all of a sudden, now, believe you me, guys, I was seeing shit move around this basement, and I was the only person in the basement. And then somebody walked up and put their hand on my shoulder. Thinking that it was Larry, I continued with the prayers I was using, and all at once, everything stopped, and the house became dead calm in the basement area. I turned around to say, man, thanks for being there. Larry wasn't in the basement with me. There was nobody there. I was the only person in that basement. Not 3 seconds later, Larry yells to me from upstairs in the house, hey, dude, you need to get up here right now. Because the activity, I had closed down its way out in the house, or in the basement, and it was now upstairs. And we literally, with the help of it's a very unbelievable story, but with the help of a good friend, actually chased it out of the house. And then put a seal on the door, and that was it. Boom, it was done. It's a fantastic story. It is very unbelievable. I wouldn't even believe it myself had I not experienced it. Larry, you can chime in and put your 2 cents in, but it was definitely, it was one of the most difficult cleansings I've ever done, if not the most difficult cleansing. When I cleansed the boy, that was a very difficult cleansing. Not as difficult as the one that Larry and I did, though. So, other than the holy water, I kind of wanted to use this opportunity to show you guys some of the stuff that I use. I have this nice little bag that I carry with me. Larry calls it my bag of tricks. And I have notebooks in here. I have, pens and stuff so that I can document things. I actually have a camera in here that I take with me whenever we're going to do whenever we're going to do a cleansing, I tend not to take our ghost gear to cleansings because I'm not there to record it. I'm there to get rid of their problem. I have a whole box of St. Michael's medals that I will use at houses. I have a whole bunch of cards. This particular one that each of my team has one. It is the card of St. Michael with the St. Michael's prayer on the back so that you never forget it. I also use other cards just in case. If we're somewhere where there might be a child ghost stuck there, I will sometimes do the prayer for the forgotten ones. And most of these cards, guys, if you go to a Catholic bookstore, they will have a rack full of different cards. I have, different cards for different things. And what I do when I use the St. Michael's medals is I will actually bless them with holy water. If it seems like it might be something a little bigger, then sometimes I will actually give the family a St. Michael's coin. I will bless it with holy water and tell them to either keep it with them or a lot of people say bury it on the southeast corner of the house. I've never had to bury anything, but I guess it couldn't hurt. It's not gonna make anything any worse. But just to document things, I keep this little camera with me. Pretty good little camera. So I can go and take, it does shoot video, does shoot 1080 video. So if I have to document something that I want to send to Sandy or send to another friend or say, hey, Larry, this is something that I caught in that room. I want a second opinion on it, blah, blah, blah. That's why you take a camera with you. I also take this cross with me when I go into some place that I think might be a little sketchy for what I'm about to embark on. This is a Catholic cross. Probably one of my favorite possessions in the world. It does have Jesus on there. You can actually hang it off of something if you needed to. I usually just will hold it I will hold it as I'm going through the house and I'm putting holy water in the corners. And after we're all done doing a cleansing, Larry and I usually start at the top, work our way to the first floor, and then from the bottom to the first floor, we get everything on the first floor. We start and then go all the way around every corner, every crevice of the house, bless it all with holy water, with prayer, and out the door is the last place we go, and then we seal it with either sea salt or regular salt will work too, guys. Salt is salt. I actually have a Himalayan salt lamp on many of my live feeds. You can I'm sorry, guys. I'm turning my head and you might not be able to hear me. On many of my live feeds, you can see that I have the Himalayan lamp going all the time. A lot of that is because, it purifies the air in your house. Also does really good to keep negativity away, negative entities. Just because the business we're in makes sense, right? Can never be too careful. I have a very thick Catholic Bible that I make reference to very often. And I will read, certain things out of here if need be. I also have this little bitty, this is kind of a down and dirty spiritual warfare book. It has, hey, Sandy, kind of building on your live feed. I hope you don't mind. This is kind of my down and dirty book. It's got a few prayers that I should be able to pretty much cleanse anything that I need to cleanse with this book. If it gets worse than that, and I love the smell of this book, this is my go-to besides the Bible. And this book is called The Manual for Spiritual Warfare. And it's going to be backwards, but when you guys look, it should be forwards. This book has bindings, has many prayers. It's that thick. It's a very nice little book. It's you know, you can do, it has pretty much every prayer, and the way to proceed with spiritual warfare, which when we, this is my favorite book. This is the most special to me besides the Bible, because this is what will get me out of a jam, if you will. Now there's a couple other books that I actually have my eyes on that I'm going to actually add to this arsenal. But for the common layman ghost hunter that, might embark on those kind of cleansings, there's the books that I have for reference that I will use. My cross, my holy water, and our salt. Many people do it with sage. That is not wrong. The Catholic Church oftentimes will burn incense, and I don't think it's sage. I think it's blessed incense, but same principle. If you ever have a priest come and bless your house, he will do it with holy water and with incense. He'll actually walk around, and it hangs from a chain, and he lights the incense, and it comes smoking out, and he will actually wave that around, and he'll actually make the sign of the cross with it, and that incense will get into, the area and bless your house. Now, I would actually like to get one of those incense burners and actually do that after a cleansing, after I've made my seals everywhere in the windowsills and the doorways and stuff with salt. I would actually like to then go back through and bless it with incense. And I may actually do that. And I'm not here to push religion on any of you guys, but I'm here to tell you guys right now that everything that I've shown you, the cross that I pretty much never take off, this is my Celtic cross. I also have another cross that I sometimes wear that is almost identical to the cross that I showed you with Jesus on it. The reason I'm showing you guys this, and the reason I'm talking about that, is that cross, this cross, any cross that I have, the books that I have, they're only going to matter if you believe. And if you don't believe, then you might as well be pissing into the wind. If you have no belief, these are all just reminders of who's really there looking out for you. And if you don't believe in that in any way, shape, or form, then you might as well not call me to cleanse your house, because it's not going to work. If you don't believe in the Almighty or the Lord above, and now, even though I consider myself a recovering Catholic, I'm no longer part of the Catholic Church. I left the Catholic Church, and I'll be candid about it, the reason why. Many priests were doing some very heinous things to some younger men, young boys within the church, and they were not holding them accountable for that. I really have a big problem with that. And when I talked to my priest about it, and he asked me, Father always referred to me as Daniel, not Dan. He said, so I can't convince you to stay, Daniel. And I said, no, Father, you can't. I said, because when they are held accountable for the crimes And the priest that I grew up under, Father was a great man. He would never hurt anybody. But there are priests out there that are sick individuals, and they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Now, Pope Francis is starting to try to make that happen. I hope he follows through with it, because nobody should be above the law. And if you're a priest, you should really actually, it's actually worse, because you are technically in a position to where you're supposed to be there to help people, and to, you're actually not only committing a crime, but you're betraying their trust in the process of that. They're not going to go against it, because you are Father, and Father should never do anything to hurt you. And that's where the big betrayal is. So I don't agree with it. I don't condone it. I don't like it. I do, however, love Pope Francis. I think that he is very upbeat and trying to bring the Catholic Church to where it needs to be. And since he's taken the reins, I have often considered going back to the Catholic Church. I do not know if I'm going to do that or not. But either way, I still have a very close relationship with God, with Jesus, and I'm never here to push my religion on anybody. If you think I'm a religious nut, I don't give a fuck. I'm probably the most foul-mouthed religious nut you'll ever meet, but I wouldn't call it being a religious nut, guys. I would call it having faith. And faith is what you have when you no longer trust the world around you. I can't go on trust. I can't go on trust that the government's going to take care of it. I can't go on trust that everyone else is going to take care of it. All I can do is go on faith, and the faith in myself that it's going to be okay. So it's only going to be okay if you believe it's going to be okay. If you think everything's going to go to shit, it will indeed go to shit. So my good friend from Oddball Crafts and Creations, as a matter of fact, give him a like, a follow, and share his page. Randy the Man Deacon says, I'm just a nut, and he's probably right. So American Ghost Hunters SJ and Russ Wells say, we just believe, and there's nothing wrong with that, Sandy. Sorry, guys, I haven't really been watching chat a whole lot. I know a lot of you guys aren't in chat. I have 10 live viewers right now, and only 4 of them I can see, and that's okay too. If you want to sit here and just listen, that is totally fine. If you have a question, now is the time to ask. I'm going to stay on here for about 10 more minutes, and then I will actually post this video over to the Ghost Hunter Dan Norvell project page on Facebook. And if you have any questions, by all means, message us there, message us here, send us a message on our website. It's not hard to find us anymore. It's just, you go to Google and you put in Ghost Hunter Dan Norvell, and you should be able to find every platform that we're on. So, I just, after Sandy was doing her live feed, I felt that I needed to kind of add to it. I needed to kind of tell you guys that if a cleansing is ever needed, what I use to do. Call me after, Dan. It says, okay, this could be anybody. Is this Larry? Is this Tessa? Is this, I will call you, but I need to know who you is. So anyway, I felt it important to let you guys know that, before Larry and I, or Tessa and I, or Larry and Tessa and I, or any of us would ever do a cleansing, there are certain criteria that we have to have met before we would do a cleansing. And kind of like there's certain criteria before a priest will come in and perform an exorcism. Certain criteria have to be met and made before we would, consider doing a cleansing. So anyhow, I got to be honest, guys. I really like this YouTube platform. I really like the ease of looking at the chat. Andrew said, hey, I had to install the app to comment. Well, I'm glad you were here to be able to comment, Andrew. So I like the clarity of the video. I like the sound. I can actually see how loud or how soft I'm speaking. It's working out real well. I really like this. So another thing I want to talk about, I'm pretty much done talking about the angels and demons stuff. If you have any questions, post them. I'm going to hang out for about 5 more minutes. Expedition Entity, just the second episode, released tonight on Paranormal Warehouse. You can catch it over at Paranormal Warehouse's YouTube channel. You can link to their YouTube channel right off of our YouTube channel. Just click paranormalwarehouse.com and you'll be there, and you can watch the second episode of Expedition Entity. I am not in that episode, incidentally. I could not make it that night because I had to work. I could not get out of it. Larry and Tessa did a really good job that night. They were joined by Will, who was the manager of Rosati's, where the second episode takes place, and they got a lot of cool stuff. So we actually did do a revisit, and we got a lot of cool stuff, and you guys may see that at some point. So we're kind of just keeping that stuff. It's kind of like the archive footage that we really don't want you to see until we want you to see it type thing. So have a good night, Randy. It was good to have you here, my friend. Take care. So, you know, we caught a lot of really cool stuff at Rosati's, and that the episode that Larry and Tessa were there, it was awesome. So go check it out right over there. Larry just dropped the link. Go check it out at Paranormal Warehouse. We're very proud of the work that we've done on Expedition Entity. And guess what, guys? Every episode just keeps getting better. So anyway, can't thank Paranormal Warehouse enough. Mike and Briggs, you guys rock. It goes without saying. So thank you for the opportunity to work with such a cool group of people. So the Marengo Rosati's, yes. Kevin Russell, thank you. Yes, it was in Marengo. We actually did 2 investigations there, and both of them really put. There's some things Larry didn't even put in the video. I mean, there was just a lot of it. So, and then a lot of it that we caught when I went back, and Larry, correct me, that was one of the places that I did a solo session, right? And it was kind of crazy in there. Although I Facebook Live that solo session, and I didn't experience a lot. People were hearing things that I wasn't hearing, which that can sometimes happen because of technology, and my ears aren't the greatest. But when I walked out, I left the live feed going, and then you could hear chairs and stuff moving around. It was really strange. And a lot of the live viewers were, when I came back in and said, "Okay, we're back. We're going to cut the thing. See you later, Sandy and Russ. Thanks for loving my Cubs hat. I love the Cubs." So Larry's saying, yeah, the second time. So yeah, it was really cool. Now I don't know which episode of Expedition Entity is the Vets Hall one. Larry, you'll have to tell me. But that was the first solo session I ever did, was at the Vets Hall with just me and Steve and Larry. And that one was very intense, I have to be honest. No bad spirits at the Vets Hall. It's just when spirits are keen on you, it gets very intense. And it was very intense. When Larry called me on the radio, I was ready to get the hell out of there. And I wasn't scared. I was just it was becoming very overwhelming. So if that makes sense. Nick FM says, yeah, I do my show, Nick FM, on here, and I love it. Yeah, you do your show on here, Nick. And I got to be honest, guys, this YouTube thing's really cool. I'm really liking it. So, hopefully we're going to do more. We're going to do more here. So, so anyway, guys, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I appreciate everybody who joined us. everybody who was in chat, our good friend Nick, our friend Randy, my partner in crime, Larry, SJ and Russ Wells, Kevin Russell, thanks for stopping by. That's everybody I can see. If you were here and I didn't see you or were able to name you, thanks for stopping by anyway. You can catch us live on Facebook at Ghost Hunter Dan Norvell Project. You can catch us live and a lot of videos that we do right here on YouTube where you're catching this live. You can catch us on our website, www.ghosthunterdannorvell.com. And you can catch us on Twitter and Instagram as well. My God, we are everywhere. And guess what else? You can also catch us on Paranormal Warehouse. So we got the double dose. And sometimes I do live feeds on Paranormal Warehouse as well. And I'm going to be having one come up here real soon. I got to talk to Mike. Country Girl First says, we like having you on YouTube, and a big shout out to the Paranormal Warehouse. We love them. Yes, we do love them. And thank you so much, Country Girl First. And we like being here on YouTube, and we wanted to maintain a positive situation and a positive experience for everybody. And that's what we try to do. So, there will never be any crap said on any of our pages. I just want to assure you guys, we delete and block that stuff because we don't need that. We don't need other people being bullied and put down anywhere, and we don't tolerate it for ourselves. We don't tolerate it for our fans if somebody's bullying or picking on another fan, and we don't allow negative talk about other teams, whether we know them, whether we work with them, whether it doesn't matter. I don't allow it. So anyway, Larry shared episode 2 of Expedition Entity, and you guys can check it right there, Paranormal Warehouse. And when you stop over, leave a comment on the video and say to Mike and Briggs, what's up? We came to watch Expedition Entity, and you guys are doing a great job. They are doing a great job. So remember to subscribe, like, and share to Paranormal Warehouse on YouTube for those episodes of Expedition Entity. Larry and I are also coming out with a second series on Paranormal Warehouse, and it's going to be Paranormal Tech. Now, that's going to be Larry's arena. I'm just there to hold the stuff and kind of be Larry's Vanna White. Not a very good-looking Vanna White, Larry. You should have picked someone else, but I'm up for the task. So if we actually had Vanna White there, a lot of people would tune in to see her, not the stuff. So you got an ugly guy like me, you're going to look more at the stuff. Just stands to reason. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. If you have any questions, by all means, contact us on one of the platforms I mentioned. Support our friends, pardon me, over on the right side of our YouTube channel when you look at it. And we appreciate everything. 2018 was a great year for us. Ghost Hunter Dan Norvell Project grew exponentially. We want that growth to continue in 2019, and we're going to keep trying to do things to keep you guys coming back and enjoying it. So you guys take care, and remember to be kind to one another. I really am serious when I say that. I know it sounds corny and hokey, but I really do mean that. Be kind to one another, guys. It's takes more energy to hate than it does to just be nice. So yes, be kind to one another. Peace. Take care, guys.